We take advice in drops, but we give it out in buckets. You can only overcome bad habits today, not tomorrow. 3 things never come back: time, word, opportunity. Therefore, do not waste time. Choose your words. Do not miss the opportunity. A noble man makes demands on himself. A low man makes demands on others. People in ancient times did not like to talk much. They considered it a shame for themselves not to keep up with their own words. A gem cannot be polished without friction. Likewise, a person cannot become successful without enough hard attempts. I don't get upset if people don't understand me. I get upset if I don't understand people. Choose a job you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. If you hate, it means you have been defeated. Before you take revenge, dig 2 graves. In a country where there is order, be bold in both actions and speeches. In a country where there is no order, be bold in your actions, but cautious in your speech. 3 paths lead to knowledge. The path of reflection is the noblest path, the path of imitation is the easiest path, and the path of experience is the most bitter path. In fact, life is simple, but we persistently complicate it. Only when the cold weather arrives does it become clear that pines and cypresses are the last to lose their trim. Happiness is when you are understood. Great happiness is when you are loved. Real happiness is when you love. Intemperance in small things will ruin a great cause. Give instructions only to those who seek knowledge after discovering their ignorance. You can curse the darkness all your life, or you can light a small candle. There is beauty in everything, but not everyone can see it. If they spit in your back, it means you are ahead. Try to be at least a little kinder, and you will see that you will not be able to commit a bad act. Misfortune came. Man gave birth to him. Happiness came. Man raised him. He is not great who has never fallen, but he is great who has fallen and gotten up. In ancient times, people studied in order to improve themselves. Nowadays, people study in order to surprise others. A noble person is serene at heart. A low person is always preoccupied. Good must be answered with good, and evil must be answered with justice. If someone wants to seriously offend you, it means it's even worse for them. The attraction of hearts gives birth to friendship. The attraction of the mind, respect, the attraction of bodies, passion, and only all 3 together give birth to love. Categoricalness is a sign of limitation. Never tell anything good or bad about yourself. In the first case, they won't believe you, and in the second, they will embellish it. Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I will remember. Let me do it and I will understand. It doesn't matter how fast you move towards your goal. The main thing is not to stop. When it's obvious that a goal's unattainable, don't change the goal. Change your action plan. Sometimes it's worth making a mistake, if only to know why you shouldn't have made it. A noble man knows only duty. A low man knows only benefit. It happened. Draw a conclusion and move on with your life. Where patience ends, endurance begins. Visiting and listening to evil people is already the beginning of an evil deed. If you want to feed a person once, give him a fish. If you want to feed him for life, teach him to fish. There are 3 mistakes in human communication. The first is the desire to speak before you need to. The second is shyness, not speaking when necessary. The third is to speak without watching your listener. The evil of a mistake is not that it happens, but that people, having made a mistake, do not try to correct it. When you feel bad, listen to nature. The silence of the world is more soothing than millions of unnecessary words. A worthy person does not follow in the footsteps of other people. Building relationships correctly is most difficult with women and low people. If you bring them closer to you, they will become cheeky. If you move them away from you, they will hate you. Look closely at a person's mistakes, and you will recognize the degree of his humanity. Thinking about profit means multiplying evil. With different principles, it is impossible to find a common language. When you meet a worthy person, think about how to become equal to him. When dating a low person, take a closer look at yourself and judge yourself. Beware of enjoying pleasures that may cost your neighbor tears. I don't know what early is, I know what late is. A gemstone cannot be polished without friction. Likewise, a person cannot become successful without enough hard attempts. If they spit in your back, it means you are going ahead. If nature overshadows education in a person, the result is a savage, and if education overshadows nature, the result is a scholar of the scriptures. Only one in whom nature and education are in balance can be considered a worthy husband. How can we know what death is when we do not yet know what life is? A wise man does not do to others what he does not want done to him. Don't worry about not being known. Worry about whether you are worthy of being known. Not talking to a person who is worthy of talking means losing a person. And talking to a person who is not worthy of conversation means losing words. The wise man loses neither people nor words. Sometimes we see a lot, but we don't notice the main thing. 3 paths lead to knowledge. The path of reflection is the noblest path. The path of imitation is the easiest path. And the path of experience is the most bitter path. I don't understand how you can deal with a person you can't trust. If a cart doesn't have an axle, how can you ride it? Study as if you constantly feel the lack of your knowledge, and as if you are constantly afraid of losing your knowledge. When, having made a mistake, you do not correct it, this is called making a mistake. Learning without reflection is useless, but reflection without learning is also dangerous. He is not great who has never fallen, but he is great who has fallen and gotten up. There is beauty in everything, but not everyone can see it. A noble man makes demands on himself. A low man makes demands on others. In fact, life is simple, but we persistently complicate it. Happiness is when you are understood. Great happiness is when you are loved. Real happiness is when you love.